What could be worse than an 8-year-old boy getting stuck in an elevator alone? Let me answer this question for you. An 8-year-old boy getting stuck with his foot being crushed by the relentless pressure of the elevator doors for 45 minutes. This is not some telltale. It is my reality. This is my story. I was hospitalized for 8 months and had to undergo more than 14 surgeries as my bones were crushed and blood circulation to my foot was cut off. For the first few days, my friends and relatives would come over to see me, and naturally they inquired about my accident. Along with the casual chatter came the much tormenting question: how many of my toes will be salvaged? While their intentions were good, the questions they asked me made me feel from bad to worse, and reciting my accident over and over again made me relive the trauma that came with it. Before I realized, my pain was no longer just physical, but also emotional. Being bedridden for a very long time is really difficult for a passionate Taekwondo player. All I wanted to do was to get back to my practices and be on the mat again. In these 8 months, I developed a strange habit, a habit of talking to myself. I said things like, I am all right, I will soon be back to my Taekwondo practices, and I am playing all outdoor sports with my friends. Must be sounding strange and funny. But with these talks, I felt strong, confident and motivated. And soon I was back, standing on 10 toes. Losing a few motor skills in the feet is tragic for anyone. But can you imagine the gravity of this tragedy on a passionate Taekwondo player? After a year getting back to the sport, I was really excited, but my practices were miserable and my performance was disastrous. I felt really weak, small and hopeless from within. Although my body was frail, my mind was strong and I refused to give up. I kept on reminding myself of my passions and goals. Every day we have multiple conversations with people. Every day we talk to different people, and depending on our interactions, we feel a certain way. For example, if your mother shouts at you, you feel low and might feel like crying. But if your teacher compliments you, you feel good and happy. There is another extremely important interaction we have, and that is our conversation with ourselves. That little voice inside your head that only you can hear is your conversation with yourself. While the outside world cannot hear it, your body can and does. Whether you are aware of it or not, there is a constant conversation going on within you. Realizing this helped me survive those 8 months in the hospital. Every day, I would try my best to create conversations with myself that would make me feel empowered and confident. In a few months, I felt an improvement in a growing lion. Things went better each day, and I started to win my competitions flawlessly. Finally, after 3 years, I made it to the national level Taekwondo competition after qualifying for the district and states. The night before the nationals, I went through a breakdown. I was hit by a wave of negative thoughts and self-doubt that sent a chill down my spine. My body started shivering and my heartbeat was through the roof. So my mother rushed me to the hospital. But the doctor said that I was physically all right and it was all psychological. I thought about it for a while and I convinced myself that it was all psychological and my body was reacting to it. My mother had already packed up, all ready to take me back home. She definitely did not want me to compete. But with all this hard work, I just didn't want to let it go. So I somehow convinced my mother to let me compete. Though I had panic thoughts running in my mind, I constantly started telling myself that I am all right and I am a winner if I ought to be. My body behaved exactly what I told myself. I was calm, composed by body and mind, all ready to play the nationals. To everyone's surprise, I actually ended up winning the competition. While this win was important to me, what I took back in the end was even more important, as now I was sure that your body truly listens to your conversations with yourself. That strange self-talking habit that I had developed in the hospital helped me conquer my insecurities. We are not in control of accidents, but we should learn to overcome them, and we should learn from our experiences. How we think of our experiences and our own thoughts affects our body a lot, and how we conversate with ourselves. So, my daily goal is to be more aware of my inner conversations, acknowledge them, and if the conversation is such that makes me feel weak or small, I simply change the conversation to one that brings motivation, confidence, and strength in me. Just like Rome was not built in a day, the art of getting your body to listen to your inner conversations is a daily practice. So, from today, let us all remember that our conversation with people is important. But the most important is that conversation, the one which we have with ourselves. Thank you.